it's got to be offensive line if possible. Now, having said that, if there's a player who is much higher rated, and I'm going to say significantly higher rated than one of the top offensive linemen when the Vikings are picking at 18. And we know this is a great draft for defensive tackles. The Vikings have a need with Sheldon Richardson moving on. And so if they had, all of a sudden, if they're staring at some of these top defensive tackles, I think that makes it really fascinating what they're going to do. And for example, if there's a Christian Wilkins there from Clemson, we know Quinnen Williams will be gone. Ed Oliver will be gone from Houston. Dexter Lawrence from Clemson. Some of those guys, I don't think they're going to jump on a Simmons from Mississippi State who tore his ACL.
Right.
But if one of those top defensive tackles are there, I'm not going to be surprised if they go that direction and say we're going to go second, third round on the offensive line. Now, I think the hope has to be that they have a high enough grade on some of these great offensive tackles and guards, and I'm talking about guys like Jonah Williams, Jawan Taylor, I think will probably be gone from Florida. Jonah Williams from Alabama could be there, and I think the attraction with him is he can swing to guard or tackle. Andre Dillard's an excellent offensive tackle too. Dalton Risner, Greg Little from Mississippi, Risner's from Kansas State. If they can get one of those guys, and then you look at the center guard situation, Garrett Bradbury is a very highly rated guy from North Carolina State. Chris Lindstrom from Boston College. Eric McCoy from Texas A&M. I think any of those guys would be a great fit on this offensive line. And if they want to play them at center, they can move Elflein over to guard. If they draft one of those top tackles, then they can move Riley Reif inside. So that gives them flexibility. I think that's the best scenario for the Vikings, even though, as I said, and I had this philosophy too, I'm not going to pass up a potentially great Pro Bowl blue chip player to take a good player at a need position. That's the kind of thing that'll get you in trouble long term. But if they're close enough rated, they've got to go offensive line, I think, in the first round. And I think they should take an offensive lineman, probably in the two offensive linemen in the first 3 rounds, and try to get 2 starters and maybe perhaps 2 immediate starters out of those players this year. And then all of a sudden that group looks a lot better. And then maybe take the defensive tackle in the second round. There could be a good defensive tackle there. Right. And meanwhile, down the road, you could fill in with a corner. I think they still need another running back to back up and be a change of pace guy. Boone has some good stuff. Thomas has some legal issues.
Right.
Abdullah, I think they look at more as a return guy. I think they still need a change of pace back. And, hey, we know Dalvin Cook has a great talent, but can he stay healthy? And that's a concern. And wide receiver, because I'm still not sold on Laquan Treadwell.
No.
And so I like what I've seen from Zylstra and Beebe as possibilities, but I think that they'll take a receiver too in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. And so there are a lot of players that they can pick to fill out the roster and add some depth. And as we said, there's going to be a corner taken somewhere. You know, Coach Zim's going to be demanding a cornerback, but hopefully it'll be down the line.
Well, next week, let's talk about, after we know what they've taken in the draft, let's talk about the cornerback position, because there have been rumors that they could or would trade Rhodes. There have been similar rumors about Waynes. They have depth at the position. They also have a player who's going to miss some time with suspension. It's a pretty interesting discussion. So we're going to break down the whole draft, talk about the cornerbacks. One of these next couple of shows will also get deep into the Vikings schedule, what it bodes for their chances in 2019. Thanks again to White Bear Lake Superstore.com. Thanks to Jeff for his expertise. Check out TalkNorth.com. And again, just go ahead and subscribe to all the shows at iTunes, your favorite podcast app. You'll find tons of good stuff.